Last night, I read something that blew my mind, but really didn't surprise me all that much. So last night, as I was preparing a piece that I'm writing, I came across a statistic that I thought was worthy of mention, given the state of affairs that we are in right now here in the United States. America consumes 80% of all of the world's opioids. 80%. And I believe that to be accurate because of the problems that we're having in this country. Political platforms are being put together with this as a key problem that needs to be dealt with here in this country and in the state of Maine. The opioid crisis is completely out of control because doctors don't know how to deal with pain. When all you have is a hammer, all you're going to see is a nail. If you're trained to give prescription medications to people in pain are going to get prescription medications. That is the way that most doctors know how to try to help people feel better. But it is not the only solution. And we know this because numerous organizations, high-level organizations within the United States have declared that for pain syndromes, and I beat this to death at least once a month on YouTube, for pain syndromes, chiropractic and acupuncture should be considered first lines of defenses for pain. That's not all they're good for, but they happen to be especially effective for pain without the risk of serious addiction that is throwing our healthcare system, contributing to throwing our healthcare system into the crisis that it is in. We are 37th. Our system, our healthcare system in the United States, is ranked by the World Health Organization to be 37th. We're after Puerto Rico. We're after Colombia, like Colombia in South America. Number one country in the world for an effective healthcare system is France. The bottom line is that if 80% of the world's opioids are being consumed in the United States and we have an enormous drug problem, it ought to tell us something. And it ought to tell us something not about how we ineffectively deal with people who are addicted to drugs, but it ought to tell us that we have too many people addicted to drugs because we use them haphazardly without research that substantiates the need and the use for such heavy medications. There's a time and there's a place, but the place is not the majority of the time. The time is not the majority of the time. 80% is far too high. The problems that we're dealing with are far too prevalent, and it's time that people wake up and make better choices about the way that they deal with pain. This is Dr. Lou signing off. Thanks for joining me on my morning rant on my commute to work this morning. This is important stuff, and if you wonder why there's a problem, you have to look at the source. Things don't happen for no reason. There's always a reason for an effect, and the effect that we're in right now is a bunch of drug addicts that we're having to deal with that shouldn't have been put in the position in the first place to be suffering with the addiction that they're dealing with.